Then you're just going to hear us be cruel to each other.
Go.
It's fun.
Oh, that didn't work. That did not work.
And welcome back to Geek Out SA. It's Friday, and guess who we have right here? Mykenna Hritz, previous co-host of Geek Out SA, one of the original co-hosts.
Yep, sitting here laughing at all the shenanigans going, yep, still the same shenanigans.
We have upgraded tech, though.
Now. That's true. And a new space.
Better stream than we used to when we first started.
Oh, that was a nightmare that first week. Oh, man.
We were talking about Kayla, when Kayla was on the show the other day, that's what we were talking about, when y'all were all doing it from your own homes and doing it on the Google Hangouts. Oh my God.
It was awful. Yeah. It was a lot of fun, but it was terrible.
Yeah.
Wait, so-and-so was saying something important. Oh, God, they dropped. Oh, wait.
Our very first one, our guest drop.
Yeah.
It was Crystal.
It was Crystal. Yeah. And she was talking about the Doctor Who fan club and stuff, right? Yeah.
That was a while back.
That was a long, long time ago.
Yep.
And we've had a lot of people come through, and then it's finally ended with you and I, Colleen, and then we've stuck with this one. I'm the only constant on Geek Out SA.
Yeah, you are the droids from your own little Star Wars universe.
Yeah. So. It's nice to have you again. It's good to see you. I rarely get to see you, even though we live in the same city, and you're always busy.
Yeah.
Doing stuff, and I'm always busy doing all my stuff. And it's nice to get together and talk some more, because it's been so long since we gotten to do this. I think the last time we actually talked was like this on doing any kind of show type of stuff was
ChimeraCon?
No, it was.
I think the last time
Alamo City, 2 or 3 years ago.
Maybe we did a quick little hey, how you doing? For a 30-second bit.
Yeah.
At Alamo City, and I think that was the last time we've actually been on camera together.
That's right, because I remember y'all did that big one where it was you guys, and it was the Geek Vengers, and it was the guys from Austin, and y'all were all together in the courtyard.
And it started to rain.
Yes, and it started to rain.
And we had no sound.
There was no sound, and y'all were hilarious, and we missed all of the
That was some fun stuff
there. It was
there.
funny.
Yeah, it was quite possibly one of the best moments we'd had, and none of it was usable footage.
No. Yeah, no, it was terrible. Well, we were all learning back then. So.
Yeah. Well, in my defense, too, I wasn't running the sound for that one.
Music while it was playing. That would have been cool.
In my defense, that was the one time I didn't run sound.
Yep, that's right. It was Jasmine who was trying to do all that stuff. And
yeah.
But it was a weird transition when we went from doing on Google Hangouts, doing it at our house, and then once we finally went to Geekdom and actually did it in one place, and it was a different dynamic. It was good when we did it at our own houses, but it was even better when we got together, because we could just really read each other's expressions and be able to feed off each other.
Yeah, the timing was down that way too, because you wouldn't have to worry about the server lag between one person makes a comment, the other person reacts. You've got all of that. Mm-hmm. And not to mention the fact that just doing sound that way was, we can get everything absolutely dialed in before we go out on the air, and make sure all the cameras were going. We had the ability to really get things where we wanted it for the first time.
Right.
Were you there when the drunk guy came in?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, yes. I thought you were. That was the best. I
got to tell you that I met his brother.
Really?
About 3 or 4 weeks after that happened, mm-hmm. I was working at Rudy's Barbecue. And this guy came through my line. He's got a drone under his arm, and he's trying to order his lunch and get his lunch in with a big, 4-rotor drone under one arm and the remote control in the other. And he's trying to mess with his wallet. And he stops and he goes, "Wait, you guys do a Geek TV show, right?" Mm-hmm. Yeah. Says, "You do it at Geekdom?" Yeah. You have a weird guy walk into your show the other day? Yes, we did.
I remember that story you told me.
yes,
That
we
was
did. He goes,
funny.
I'm so sorry. I don't know if it was his brother, actually, it may have been his roommate. But either one.
That's hilarious. I haven't heard that story. I guess I forgot that. That's so funny. That's like the small world. That's kind of how San Antonio is, though. It's like big city, small world kind of things happen here all the time.
Yep.
So that was one of the most hilarious episodes because that guy just full on walked into the room and just started chatting with y'all. What are y'all doing in here? And y'all just transitioned real easy. You were like, come on in. We don't know who you are, strange man. But
And then it became weird.
It got
Yeah.
weird real quick. And I
Real
still
weird.
you were talking about memes before the show and making memes. I still throw them out every now and again. And this is like squirrels because you can put your hands in them. I was one of the direct quotes from the show last night. We were playing like some weird word association type game or whatever. And
I thought we were paying like 12 or something like
you
that.
were playing Quill.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
We were playing Quell. And I don't remember the question because it pushed it right out of my head because the man just looked at us and you're talking something about choosing a favorite animal or whatever. And his response was cats because you can put your hands in them.
Yeah. Weird. So weird. You just never know.
Yeah.
You just never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah,
So we all kind of clustered together when we left that night, and we were all very much on the lookout, and he
Yeah, we walked
probably-
each other to cars, you
Yeah.
know.
And he was probably passed out in his office by then.
And now we can control who's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we just don't answer the door, and then people can't come in.
Yeah, I still have nightmares about kitten mittens. It's just
Oh, believe me, there are a couple of things that I saw just surfing YouTube today that you don't want to know about.
Yeah. No.
It's
Let's just keep YouTube, Let's keep YouTube nice,
Keep it
people.
PG.
Let's keep YouTube nice, please.
like, oh my god.
So, what's been going on? What you been doing?
a lot of work. Doing much better. The day job is actually a really great one now. Mm-hmm. That definitely has helped a lot. Bonnie and I are working for the same company. Because of their rules, I can't say where we're working, but yeah, it's an office job. It's a Monday through Friday day job, which is kind of the dream.
Are y'all doing your podcast anymore?
We haven't done a show now in coming up on 2 years. Although we're planning on changing that next month.
Oh, good.
Cool.
We're going to be running at least 3 shows. One of them is going to be predominantly me, and that's called With Intolerances, and that's going to be all kinds of like trans and issues, gender issues in general, legislation, audit, that whole thing. Mm-hmm. That's going to be predominantly mine. Then we will be doing Nerding Instinct again. We're going to stick a lot closer for that portion of the show towards like socio-political stuff, like how geek culture affects the world and vice versa, and things like that. And then we'll take the actual geekdom side into some other projects we're going to be working on. And the one that we're hoping to get up, I'm hoping to get up by the end of the month. And actually, what's holding us up is the name and the logo art. But Mike Brown, our former co-host, producer, and what have you, way back when, and I are going to be running a horror podcast.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's
So-
right. You had talked to us about that. Yeah.
So we're going to be doing like the classic Universal monsters, all the old black and white stuff, the worst of the worst of the stuff too. Anything that starts with American International at the beginning is going to be a bad time. Anything that when you go and you pick up the 50 sci-fi horror classics on one DVD compilation,
Yeah.
Yes.
those are going to hurt. We'll watch them so you don't have to.
Nice.
But yeah, anything like that, and then there's always been a horror culture in San Antonio. But what we're starting to see now is that fandom is kind of growing and starting to build events, which is relatively new. Of course, Lori's always got MonsterCon, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
She does a lot of the Sci-Fest, things like that too. But we're actually starting to get big actual horror convention kind of things happening in South Texas now, which is relatively new.
Yeah.
They've got a couple of really big ones up in Dallas, but that's really as close as that's gotten to us historically. And so we're kind of excited to see that kind of thing
We've had
growing
small
too.
things. Like we had that horrific film festival
That
here.
was such a long, long time ago.
I think they did it like last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought that was the one that we went to, and Nick met the guy that signed
Yeah,
his shoes.
that was a while back.
But Nick was
When that
like
happened,
12.
yeah.
And he's 20 now, so yeah, it's been a while. So who's your
Electric
favorite?
Dreams
Oh.
says greetings and salutations.
Greetings
Hey,
and
how's it doing?
salutations.
I wonder if that's Jonesy Cat.
I'm not getting the chat on my side.
Oh. He's okay. So I was gonna ask McKenna, like, so you're doing the horror. So what's your favorite? Like, if you had to pick one favorite all-time horror movie.
Oh wow. To rag on or to actually enjoy?
To enjoy, like favorite, like scary.
Honestly, I think I'd have to go with Boris Karloff's Frankenstein.
Really?
Yes. Because, I mean, yes, it took Hollywood liberties, they all did, but that one sticks a little closer to the book than most of them. Although I really wish we would get a good, true to Mary Shelley style Frankenstein movie that showed that Adam, who was the monster, actually was intelligent. And he had a mind on him.
Did you watch I, Frankenstein? It's fairly new. I thought they tried. I thought that in some places they were on track and they tried a little bit more. I know they were trying to bring it to the modern age.
Yeah, I thought it was a little kind of ham-fisted and tropish overall. Although I liked that Adam, was a strong character. He was a thinking character. He was a feeling character. I do like that. But they really took it a completely separate direction because that was based on a comic book property. Which was a far better comic book property actually than the movie was, and of course that's kind of how things tend to go.
Yeah.
More often we're getting away from that, fortunately. I Frankenstein is a fun watch. It doesn't have much rewatch. I don't feel.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd watch it again, but
yeah.
What about the one with Daniel Radcliffe, Victor Frankenstein?
That one I've not seen yet. I really want to see that.
I liked it.
It's really interesting. Daniel Radcliffe's character is very interesting in it. That hand to Frankenstein, I won't tell you because it kind of ruins things to know what goes on. But it's another interesting. I don't know. I like to see like different people's interpretations of things.
Speaking of Radcliffe, did you see Horns?
I've not seen Horns.
Horns is amazing. It is a totally its own property. It's not based on anything outside. But the thing is, this guy is falsely accused of having murdered his girlfriend. And he's kind of hanging out with the parents, trying to hang away because everyone knows who he is. And they live in this small town in the Pacific Northwest. So it's a small community, so he can't go anywhere without having to take that in the face all the time. And he's basically being turned into this monster in the eyes of everybody and kind of demonized to the point where he wakes up one morning with horns.
Interesting.
And he never goes into how it happens, doesn't touch any of that. But the cool thing about it is he starts seeing how people change when they're around him because of it. Nobody sees them but him. Nobody acknowledges the horns are there.
Really?
He sees them, feels them. The doctor kind of gets it for a moment, but they always kind of push themselves out of everyone's perception. And he starts discovering things like people can't lie around him. They're physically incapable of it. People will tend to do anything he says in their presence. It's just like this wandering charm spell that he's got going on.
Wow.
And that goes all of these directions you just don't expect the story to go, which when you're a diehard movie fan of any kind, you start seeing tropes coming. You see, it's like, okay,
right,
I know where this is going to go.
I know this is happening. Yeah.
And this one manages to escape all of that.
Oh, that's good.
And
okay.
it really breaks a lot of tropes, which is a huge thing with us. So I really, really check that one out.
Okay, Horns. It's just called Horns.
Just called Horns.
He was in another horror that I never saw, The Lady in Black. He's done a couple. Daniel Radcliffe has done a couple of horror. He's done pretty well moving himself away from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Because a lot of actors, get typecast. So I think that he's done fairly well at starting to kind of move himself away from that. When he was in Victor Frankenstein, I was worried. I was like, he's just going to be Harry Potter, right? Yeah. But he's very much not.
Yeah, he's an amazing actor.
Yeah,
he's a good nerdcore rapper, too.
Yeah. Have you seen him do the periodic table?
No.
He can do the whole periodic table.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I saw Alphabet Aerobics.
Oh, no.
And he did that on the Jimmy Fallon show.
Oh, yes, I did see him do that. Yes, I did. Yes.
And I was just like dying for him now to release a nerdcore album. It needs to happen, Daniel.
Do it.
Do it, Daniel. Do it.
Right?
So, I got to transition into it, and it's hard.
Well punched, sir.
So, I mean, when we met, you were a different gender.
Yes.
And how was how has that change affected you within the geek culture? Has it affected you any, or have they?
Not-
A lot of people accepted that.
It's been remarkably well accepted so far. I mean, from the geek friends that I had in the geek community that I knew, the only thing that I got from a couple of people, and I'll actually name names, it was Jasmine Buendicho, and it was an amazing thing. So this is a compliment. I'm getting to it, I promise. I was telling her about it because I kind of told certain people first before the big reveal went out, etc. I was talking to her, and she goes, "Okay, why are you doing it?" And I said, "Well, I've been somebody else now for 40 some years. I want to try being me instead." She goes, "Perfect, fantastic, welcome." And but she was just like, well, "You're not doing this for publicity or attention or any of the reasons that occasionally, remarkably seldom, but occasionally you will find people who have kind of gone that route for the sake of attention, trends, what have you."
I think that's in anything, though. You're going to find those outlier people that are looking for attention, and so they're doing something, whether it's pretending to be trans or, you have those Munchausen by proxy people who pretend that they're sick or their children are sick. So I think people associate that, and they think that everybody who's trans is faking. They think that you're faking.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. It's not.
No one's going to put up with the risks and the negativity for long unless they're doing it because it's really who they are. I've been pretty blessed overall. My family accepted. My son's reaction was, "You're still you're still a nerd, right? You're still a geek." "Yeah, that's all I care about." And that was it. That was the extent of the conversation. I think we started talking about magic cards right after that. So it's been amazing.
Do you think that it's easier, like convention-wise and in the geek culture, to transition? I think because so many of us are used to kind of the cosplay and that kind of gender neutrality sometimes of that. Or do you find it harder because we do hear about people who have a hard time because of the way they dress in cosplay, because of their weight, because of their ethnicity, and they're trying to be somebody else. So I don't know, what side did you feel like you saw more of?
You definitely see more of the positivity. You see more people, definitely, who are accepting and understanding and outright supportive. One of the first things I see is, "Oh, you got to look at the cosplays you should do now," and and it's like, it's not going to stop me. I've still got male cosplays I want to do just because I love the characters. I got female cosplays I want to do because I love the characters. But yeah, I think just the factors at work are, you have nerds who are used to being ostracized. Not all of us have grown up. Not all of us have been born since the transition where nerd is cool.
Right, because you're in that same age bracket that Vincent and I are in. We're all in our 40s, and so we did grow up in that time where people were mean to us, like really, really mean to us. And my mother thought like I was going to go to hell for playing D&D. Like she didn't know, like she thought we were worshiping the devil and stuff. So I went through all of that stuff too, being from an ultra Christian side too. So yeah, you definitely get that aspect of it not being as accepted.
Right.
So you've already kind of had to not be accepted already, and then...
Yeah, and really, life was a lot easier for me once I made the transition. One of the first things that Bonnie noticed, and I noticed it too, but she really struck her, was... Bonnie's my wife, for those who don't know.
Oh, yeah.
We've been married... it'll be 13 years this coming January.
Congratulations.
Thank you. One of the first things she noticed is that the anxiety disorders and the depression disorders have all become massively easier to deal with. I mean, you guys have seen me not quite at my worst, but almost. And that's kind of why I left the show when I did. Is I couldn't control any of that anymore. And now there's not that constant having to be somebody else all the time to deal with. And while that doesn't cure the anxiety or the depression by any stretch, I'm always going to have that to some degree because of the nature of it's biological with me, et cetera, but it's definitely made things a lot easier to cope with. So I don't have that extra pressure.
You seem different.
You do. You seem more at ease with yourself even, and I think that that's important.
Yeah,
you feel more comfortable in your skin.
Yeah.
Whereas when we were there, it seemed like more of a show that you were putting on for everybody.
Oh yeah.
And you could see that just because we spent a lot of time together.
Right.
And then now that you see right here, you really see you come out, and
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Well, I appreciate that.
I'm really glad you got to that place where you could do that.
Yeah, I don't hate mirrors and windows as much as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
I hated anything with a reflective surface, which kind of made it hard to look at the production booth at Geekdom for cues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd see my reflection in the plexiglass, and I
Look down. Yeah.
yeah, I love rewatching our shows, but I hated seeing me on the camera because it was just a constant reminder of, oh, by the way, that's that costume you have to wear all the time.
Yeah.
You know, having to just the weird things like having to wear a tie to work. It crushes you. And now it's none of that's the issue anymore. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Everybody, even my father, took to it, and he had no issues. My sister's only issue was how to pronounce the new name.
I wasn't sure either. I was like, is it Mykenna, Mykenna? Like,
Yeah, you basically pronounce it like it would be an MCK. You know the Y, and it's actually. I desperately didn't want to pick a name that resembled so closely my birth name, because you talk about tropes. That's a big one in the trans community, and most of the time people will do that to make it easier for other people. So they're making that step to build their lives for themselves, but still making that concession of, well, a really new name might be too hard for people. I'll just grin and bear or whatever I think will be easier for them to use. So I was really struggling not to go that route, and Bonnie and I were going through name lists on parenting websites of all things.
of course.
But we found one in particular, and I call them out right now and give them a prop, but I can't remember what the site was. But anyway, we found one, and that one stuck, and it's actually a Gaelic name that means born of fire, and fire's always been a huge part of my life. I'm very much a fire element type person, always have been. Born the 1st of August, go figure.
Nothing like heating it up.
Right? But we saw that and it's like, no, that's perfect. And then with that, we went ahead, we really liked the way the Y still looked, because I used to spell my birth name is, I don't use the word death name very often, like some people. My birth name was Mycol, Michael. And for short, I would go Myke. And I decided just to keep that and add the ENNA at the end, the NNA at the end of that. So...
When did you know that you really associated with being female and you wanted to be female?
I remember clearly, the earliest I remember clearly of knowing that's what it was I was 6 years old.
Really?
Yeah. I was sitting on my front sidewalk over on Cherry Ridge over on the northeast side. And I was sitting on the front sidewalk and kind of playing with toys and sitting there and realized, I'm going to have to go to gym in the next couple of years here soon. And that's when it hit me like, oh, no. I've got to fit in at gym class. I got to fit in at the locker room. I don't want to be around all of those. That's just, it. And I was already realizing that all of the things I thoroughly loved doing were decidedly not things that 6-year-old boys typically want to do. It's like, my sister got me a football. My first thought was, what do I do with this? I have no idea what to do with this. I'm going to go inside and cook. My mom was a chef, so I spent a lot of time in the kitchen, things like that. I love cooking. I love music. I love art. I love, cross stitch was a huge thing when I was a kid. So all these things that have that kind of gender stigma to them, while not being gendered items themselves, those were all my interests always were. All of my best friendships tended to be with female people. Rather than with guys, because we didn't have the same thing we wanted to talk about. Relationships were difficult because I wanted the things out of a relationship that your average female wants out of a relationship, where all of my guy friends were just looking, for that really physical outlet to say. I was like, man, I really wish I just had someone to have coffee with in the morning. I wish I had somebody that was just going to be there when I roll over in the middle of the night. Those were all I wanted, the nurturing, the emotional aspect of it. And really didn't care so much for the physical aspect of everything. And which, while it had its place and its interest, that was never it's still not. I wanted that emotional bond that you typically associate to the standard gender of female.
Did you ever talk to anybody, or did you ever have anybody to talk to when you were younger about feeling this way? Or because it was so much not a thing when we were growing up.
Yeah.
Even being homosexual wasn't a thing, much less being transgender. And RuPaul had kind of started the drag movement, but it was still
a punchline.
Very much, not in the public eye. So it was a very different time when we were growing up than it is now, and it's still not easy. But did you have anybody, or you didn't really ever get to voice these things?
I didn't really have anybody when I was a kid at all. I probably could have talked to my mother about it, but I never got that far myself to where I could actually say, "Hang on, I got to have this talk with you." And I'm betting she would have been really, really supportive, but I just never took that step. I was deathly afraid of telling my father, and I think just as much as anything else, because I'm from a family of 5 kids, but I'm the only biological child of my dad's. So that kind of made it a little. I was like, I don't want to take this away from him.
Right.
So he grew up very.
Because we grew up in a time where male lineage was a huge thing too. Like
Yes.
you wanted a boy to carry on that name, and you were trying to keep that going. That was a very big thing back then too.
Well, my dad had 2 siblings. He had a sister and a brother. His sister was married to a beautiful man who was a fantastic individual. He was a pilot for the Saudi Arabian Air Force. But of course she got married, went off, took his name, had kids. They're great people. I still talk to them. But then my uncle, he was having all daughters. So the whole talk came down from Dad. It's like, well, you're the only shot we've got of carrying the name. And I was like, I can't take that away from him. He needs to not know. And Dad grew up very Catholic. My dad was actually his original plan was to go directly into seminary after high school and become a priest.
Really?
I ruined that plan. But he met Mom and all that was over. No, but so there was that too. It's like, I know he's still growing up, he was still, pretty, still held all that very, very dear. Nobody ever held it against me. I was never actually there wasn't really any oppression in our household. But knowing all of these things, I just never got up the guts to have the conversation or express any of that early on.
And it's really nice because it really seems like your father really accepts that.
Oh yeah.
And he still makes comments on Geek Out SA all the time.
Yeah, he still talks to us on Geek Out SA and stuff, so it's nice
which
to
is
see.
really cool. And one time, I think we were at Sherwood Forest, and how come you didn't tell me you were there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't come by. So it's nice to, get that acceptance, especially from your family.
Yeah.
And it's hard to know you how you were, and to know now how many of those layers needed to be peeled to get where you are today, because that was a lot of peeling.
Yeah.
You had to get to where you are now.
Yeah, it was
because you put on this different persona that just wasn't you, but it was you in one aspect, but you weren't.
Yeah, you get really good at perfecting the stage presence that you think everyone wants to get from you. So, I hid a lot behind the sense of humor.
Yeah.
I would try to keep people laughing if I could. I think that's one of the reasons I pushed so hard on the intellect issue. It was the one thing that was accepted by people. So I didn't have to worry about being a good guy. I could be a smart person.
Right.
And a smart person, a funny person, and I kind of stuck with that. And I would use I used to have a very full beard, not quite like Pocky. Pocky still wins.
Pocky wins. Pocky wins. All
Pocky does
painted
win,
gold the
yes.
other day.
But it made it easier to not have to have the conversations. Interestingly enough, growing up, I was constantly getting misgendered the other direction when I was a kid. Or even like in my early 20s, I was getting ma'amed all the time. which kind of got frustrating. It's like, God, I'm trying to be this person and I'm still failing at it. And, so the beard became a thing. I could hide behind it.
The hair. You used to wear your hair long and in your face, too?
Yes.
Because when I think of you before, I see you with the beard. Because I've never seen you without. Until now. Well, I mean, we've seen each other since today, but...
Yeah. But prior to the transition, it just really didn't happen.
Because even the last time we were on camera, you weren't transitioned.
Yeah. That's true.
Do you get a lot of shock from people who, like, knew you before, or...?
Most of the people I have interaction with now are on Facebook, so they knew. Because that was kind of where I broke the news after I told everyone that needed to be told in private first. Then I went ahead and made this big post on Facebook. And so I don't run into it a lot. What was really funny, and I wasn't going to bring it up, but now it's too funny, I have to.
Okay.
We were in line for Free Comic Book Day at Dragon's Lair this year.
Oh, yeah. I
saw your son. No clue.
Really?
He had no idea. So I just, of course, with the lines wrapped almost around the building, even though we were there really early, he's like 8-9 feet people in front of me. And I was grinning, and he looked back every once in a while, like, and then he looked at Bonnie, and it's like, I'm pretty sure I know. And look at me, and just go back. And I don't think the light ever came on.
Well, I think when we were cutting your hair, I don't know if Zach knew who you were. When he came down, he didn't say anything, so I was like, I think he thinks he knows who you are, but he's not sure. So later he'll be like, hey, Mom.
What is kind of fun is going into places I used to work.
Oh, yeah.
That don't know. And that's fun because those are the places where the people who aren't okay with this hide in my past, So I'll go in and make them deal with me for an hour and a half as a customer, and they kind of have
there
to.
You go.
And that's fun. I'll admit it. That's probably a little malicious, but it's fun.
I know it's been a little easier for me to talk to you about it, like on Facebook, on social media. And when I send you like messages, I'm like, hey girlie, how's it going? And stuff like that. Today was the first time that I kind of messed up because I was like...
So, yeah, so it's called...
which I didn't mean to. I wasn't trying to be me. But I know you for so long.
Right. And that's the kind of thing that doesn't really bother me. There's a lot of transgender people in the world who do get, and I understand it, who do get a lot more upset a lot more easily about that. It's called dead naming. And somebody who will call you by your old name, or somebody who will misgender you. And generally, if it's people I've known for a while, I don't care. It really, because almost always in those circumstances, they stop, like, oh, sorry, and, if there's some kind of sign there that they got it, I'm good. That really doesn't bother me at all. Where I will run into issues with people who are obviously doing it intentionally. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And their body language is something like, take that,
Have you met anybody like out in public who says anything to you, or?
Very, very rarely, and I think that's largely because of the fact that I am still big. I am a little over 6 foot, and I can still fill a hallway either way, and so people were like, yeah. I'm gonna shut up right now.
I'm just gonna be quiet.
So I don't run into a whole lot of that.
That's good.
Yeah, and some people that'll make the comments or just say something off color. I will generally have some remark that will come up and that'll either just scare the daylights out of them or embarrass the daylights out of them. And those are the moments when, yes, I will pull that trigger and be that person. Yeah. We were at King's Buffet a while back, Bonnie and I, having dinner, and I'm over there. I have an iron issue where I can't get iron or protein properly from any source but red meats. So we're there, and I'm just like, okay, I'm getting bruises everywhere. It's timing. And so I'm getting a big plate full of steak. And this redneck drunk guy comes up to me, and he's all of like 5'4", maybe. Little bitty guy. He sidles up to me and does the whole shoulder rub kind of thing and looks at the plate and says, "You're my kind of girl." And I dropped my voice as low as I could, looked at him and said, "No, I'm really not." He dropped his plate and took off.
It's my package.
It's your package. It's fine. Yeah. The doorbell was ringing, Amazon. But it's his Amazon. Amazon's always coming.
You can drop it there. We're busy.
They'll leave it.
They'll leave it.
Right? Won't they?
I hope so.
Okay. If they keep ringing the bell, then you can go, and McKenna and I will just talk without you.
Okay.
Or I can
Sean will jump into your chair.
totally.
Sean's
Now that we've
"I'll
set
get
the
in
precedent
there."
on
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
me go check it.
Okay, you go,
All right,
and I'll ask.
I'll step out of the screen.
Okay, and we'll be right here.
Yeah, they'll be right
So
here.
actually, I was going to ask you, since you said about cosplay earlier, so that you said you had some
Hi.
female and some male. So do
207
you
Cypress
feel
Garden?
more pressure to do
Vince.
female
Guzman.
cosplay? Because I
right.
have
Thank you.
always been kind of a masculine girl, and I
Not a
like
problem. Thank
masculine
you.
things, and so a lot of the time I like to do male cosplay, and I think that that's okay.
Oh, yeah,
Do
absolutely.
you feel pressure to do female cosplay, or do you inherently want to,
I
or
feel freer to do female cosplay now.
freer to do it?
I really.
I just confirmed my address on live.
Oh,
Good job, honey.
I should have muted you.
Way to go, hun.
I didn't even think
So now y'all know.
You'll have to move now.
No. We were talking.
No, I feel freer to do it now, but I still feel. I mean, I really don't care at this point, and that's kind of
So
that's
what's
the
one that
mantra
you
of my
want to
life.
do?
One of the ones I still want to do is I like doing mashup cosplays.
I do too.
So one of the ones I'm working on, have been working on for a while. Bonnie may have to take the robes in now. I've lost some weight, but doing the old school Mandarin, but with all of the brightest lantern rings from Green Lantern. So
Okay.
the red, the blue, all of that, all of the lantern rings instead of the 10 rings that the Mandarin wore traditionally in the comic book, and just call him the Lantern.
The lantern. Okay.
And I've even got the arc reactor ring to make up the 10th.
Nice.
So it's the
Nice.
Tony Stark Mark V, I think, arc reactor. And the cool thing is Bonnie's got the expensive set of the rings, so when I make the fist, all the rings light up.
Oh, nice.
So I'm really
Nice.
looking forward to doing that one.
Is it the circle one or is it still the triangle? For Tony Stark.
It's the circle reactor.
Mark 5.
Yay, I remembered.
Iron Man fan right here.
Awesome, awesome.
Fulgur says, we heard nothing. LOL.
Yeah.
That's going straight to 4chan, you know that, right?
Yes. Well, if they follow me on Facebook, they know where I live anyway.
And there's photos of your house all the time on both of your Facebook.
Because it's the
Yikes.
Guzman Fortress
Of
of
course, now
Solitude.
and of course now we're also just we're telling them where to find the rest of that data.
I'm like, I'm just going to delete everything now. Stalker people, stop coming to my house. Okay.
Your camera froze.
My camera froze.
Yeah. It's like stuck in.
But your mic went through, so they all got your
That
address.
position.
So
Huh?
Your camera's stuck in that position.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's like stuck.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
I bet your computer needed to take updates right before the show, and you didn't do it.
No.
Even though
So-
you're gone.
I didn't do any of the tech this time.
You're
It's
like,
not on
I
me.
didn't do any of this stuff. It wasn't me. It was all Vince and Sean's fault.
I
Just
didn't.
blame it all on Sean.
I didn't do anything.
So another project that you're working on is leather work.
Yes.
So you are actually, and I forgot to bring one of your cards, but you have your own company. So what's the name of your company?
Thistle and Thunder.
Thistle and Thunder, and you're wearing some of your.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to see any of that on camera. But,
Well, we
But
can
yeah.
take it off and kind of show people.
that's one there. But I do purses, belts, wallets, bracelets,
Bracelets.
armor.
So I don't know if you can see. Armor is definitely a good one.
Am I back on?
You back?
Yes.
Welcome
I
back.
like this. So these are cuffs that you can get, and you want to show the purse because I love the purse.
Now it's my turn. I knocked my mic
Now
off.
McKenna's knocking her mic off,
And it can be my turn.
and then Vince's gonna knock something off.
This is the purse I carry all the time.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. And I've got my skull and
Yeah.
stuff on the back. White roses are a huge thing with me.
Hail Hydra, how rude.
And then the
then it
inside
clasps.
color colored. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
And the Celtic knot work all the way around, etc. And this one I use right now is just as a makeup bag, which is kind of sad because this holds all of it.
That is kind of sad, but we're working on that.
Right. Bonnie's been very generous.
Oh, I
But
like
yeah.
the little butterflies. That's
Thank you.
cute.
So like I said, I do stuff I can't talk about on the show too.
And costume leatherwork,
Yep.
which I got these done for my Jedi outfit, and these are the Obi-Wan
Yeah.
Jedi pouches. It's really cool.
Thank you.
really.
Yeah, that was going to be a magnetic clasp, but then I decided that you probably want to keep the magnetic strips on your cards.
Probably,
probably kind of a thing. So
I don't know that they do anything to the chips though.
I don't
To
know.
the chips, probably not, but I
Yeah.
didn't want to take that risk.
So where can people go to see? Like, do you have pre-made stuff, or you just do custom orders?
Right now, I do pretty much just custom orders, everything
Okay.
we've got. Although I'm hoping to start the con circuits later this year, so I'll be building inventory for those, and then
Can
still,
you
of course,
see the
taking
chat
custom.
on there? Or still no?
I can see
So-
it now.
Okay.
Oh. So where can people go to like kind of contact you to get some of this leather work done?
You can find me on Facebook, Thistle and Thunder.
Thistle and Thunder.
You can find me on Instagram a lot, and that's just
I do see you on Instagram a lot.
yeah, that's at Thistle Thunder, and you'll find all my stuff there.
What are the price ranges?
That's one of the things I'm kind of proud about is because I can generally undercut just about anybody in the market. Because of a partnership I have with Tandy Leather that I used to work for years and years and years ago, I get my materials and all these things at such a reduced rate that I can cover my costs, get a healthy profit margin, and still be usually about half of what most of my competitors are on the internet.
So like a cuff like this, what would this run somebody? Probably
$15.
15.
Yeah. And I'm seeing those anywhere from 30 to 45 average.
Yeah.
I might be giving you a call later.
I have cards with me. I will leave them with you when I go.
Yeah, I think it would be great to do some more costuming stuff. We went.
Nolan C says evening. Hey Patrick.
Hey, Patrick.
Those are nice. So he likes all the leather work that you do.
Yeah,
Awesome.
he does.
And you've met Patrick.
Yeah.
Nolan?
yeah, you met Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick was producing for us.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
he was.
he was.
He was a geekdom. When we're in the first area with the bigger room.
Yeah, and that god awful echo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, my
that was
God,
because
y'all
of the
sounded
glass?
like you were in a
Yes.
bucket.
Oh,
Yes,
that
it
was
was
the
the
bane of
worst.
my existence trying to get that knocked down. And then they moved us to that conference room, which was a little better but still tinny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally we got the actual studio space in there and with the acoustic foam on the walls, and
Yeah.
I cried. It was awesome.
It was much better, yes. So I heard you say armor. Sorry, I heard you say armor. Have you done armor before, or
Yes.
you have?
Yes, I've done a lot of bracers. I've done greaves. For anyone, bracers are what you typically see of the wrist and forearm.
Yeah, Vince bought some of those at Sherwood. Yeah.
Cool. Greaves tend to be more or less the same thing, but for the legs.
Yeah.
Like think of the umpires' leg pads. Those are technically greaves.
Right.
So I've done those. I've done full torso armor a few times. Lorica segmentata, which is the Roman layered steel armor. I just do it in carved leather. I have actually the least impressive visually, but my favorite project to brag about armor-wise was a project I did for a member of the San Antonio Police Department. Because the bulletproof vests that they wear, they'll stop ballistic rounds. They'll stop bullets. They really won't do anything for you when it comes to an edged weapon, a knife, or what have you. So they're still at risk for anybody who realizes that, which became a real issue a few years ago. So they're talking about what else can we do, and they're trying to figure out what can they do without dying in the Texas heat, things like this. Well, those bulletproof vests have foam pads that you remove. There's 2 of them in there, and there's a space in between. So what I started doing is making hardened leather armor plates that slide inside between the foam pads of the bulletproof vests.
Nice.
And showing those off was always fun because I show the guys, look, see, I take this knife that I've got, it's an old Remington knife, and I'll go through saddle skirt, which is about half an inch thick leather, and I'll just carve it like butter. Show you, that's really cool. And I'll take their brand new piece they've just paid me for, and I'll set it on a table, and I'll take the knife in hand, and I'll jump, and I'll plant that knife in that leather for all I'm worth, and watch them go, my money, And that's when I hold it up to them, and you see the knife hasn't gone through still. You've got a little scratch on the back, and that's it.
That's it.
And again, I'm not small, but if you know what you're doing, it's amazing how much protection you can get out of leather armor still. One of the things I'm hoping to start working on next year is tactical purses.
Tactical purses. What's a tactical purse?
A tactical purse is going to first off be weighted. There's going to be a thin layer of lead shot in the bottom. All of the leather used, except for the strap, will be hardened armor leather. And worked into the lining of the full purse will actually be bullet-resistant Kevlar. The pockets on the inside where your wallet would go or your ID, things like that, is going to be lined with RFID-resistant paper. so nobody can skim your cards or your IDs or any of your chips or anything like that while your stuff's in your purse.
Interesting.
And then we'll
And
be
is the
doing
lead
this.
so you can smack somebody in the head really hard?
That's exactly what that is. And then since we have to pad the shoulder strap anyway at that point because you don't want the thing wearing you down when you wear it, we'll go ahead and we'll be putting Tyvek in underneath the padding along the strap of the purse so they can't cut the strap and take it either. So
tactical purses.
tactical purses.
Damn.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I did not know either.
It wasn't. I got bored one day.
Oh my god!
Like,
So this is a brand new idea.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yep. So I'm excited about those. But the armor stuff we can do, I tool almost everything. So where a lot of the armor leather you'll see out there, they'll harden it up and they'll give you a color on it. They may imprint it with a hot plate or a pressure plate, or just stamps the one design in for you. I actually go through and hand carve everything, hand tool it in the same way you used to make saddles, the same way you used to make roper wallets, all that kind of stuff. I do all that on mine. But I can still get all of the wear and tear and everything that you would get out of just a straight up armor leather, if not more. But I've been doing it for like 20 years. I used to be a LARPer, a reenactor. So
that's right, you did do that. I'm going to fix your hair a little bit because your brow's showing. I don't want your bra to show.
thank you for the hair tonight.
Oh, you're welcome. I watched YouTube and I was very scared that I was going to like hatchet it up, but it turned out pretty nice.
Yeah.
I dug it. I dig
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, my hair's
I was sweating it. I was like,
I know. He was like, "You're not really going to do that, are you?" And I'm like, "Well, I told her I would try."
I was like,
so-
thank goodness she wasn't using the clippers.
Okay, I had kind of a bad experience trying to
I
cut the
figured there was a
boys'
story here.
hair. Yes, but to my credit, it was before YouTube was really a thing, and that we like looked on YouTube for all these tutorials, and they were all on there because it was a long time ago. I think Nick
Yeah.
was like 10, so it was like 10 years ago. So yeah, it wasn't good. I tried really hard. I had watched The Barber, and I thought I knew what I was doing, and we didn't have money. You didn't always have money, so you
that
did
was
what
one.
you could, you know.
Well, it worked out. And like I said, my hair's only ever had two modes. It was either down or it was ponytailed, and that was it. And the only thing that changed when I transitioned was the ponytail moved higher on the back of my head. That was
I like to do the ponytail where you do like the little ponytail here, and then the middle ponytail, and then the bottom ponytail, so you have like 3 layers of ponytail, and I like to do ponytails.
the most adventures I've ever gotten is just the flipped ponytail.
Oh yeah, that one's fun too.
That one's fun.
That's an 80s. That's a totally 80s thing. I don't think anybody does that anymore. I'm gonna bring
Pippi
that back.
Longstocking.
I'm gonna bring that back. Oh yeah, you can do pigtails. Pigtails are fun. People are like, "Oh my god, you got pigtails!"
I don't
Just
think
do-
I could pull that
Or
trigger.
the side from the
Deb
80s.
Deb
Yes.
from Napoleon Dynamite.
Deb, you do the side one. I've done that before too.
there's
And
a-
people are like, "Oh yes, bring it back. Bring
There's
it
a
back." girl."
cosplay I need to do.
Yes, Deb.
Deb from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes.
That'd be great.
That is a good cosplay.
The hard part's going to be finding a Napoleon.
It could be if Deb and Napoleon had a baby.
Oh no.
With a camera. You have to have a camera.
You have to have a camera and a shirt that says, "Here, Tina, you lard." And then you have to have some, what are those, tater tots in your pockets.
Make myself a quesadilla.
A ding dang
And your
quesadilla.
nunchuck stills. Yep, I love that.
So what are some of the geeky stuff you keep up with?
Frighteningly little these days. We've been without TV and net for a while, so I'm like behind on everything. Funko Pops.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more than a little
You have
addicted.
a pop problem.
I do have a
You do.
pop
You
problem.
do,
Yep.
yeah.
You do.
Right now, the pawn shop has my pop problem. But
Oh man.
I hate when that happens.
Hey, I don't have a pop problem. Stop looking around here. You can lean forward. Let's get your
She
hair.
does have it.
I do not have a pop problem.
Compared to Mykenna or compared to Nick?
amateur.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
But you do
I
have
only
one
have
thing.
22.
I haven't hit the 50 mark yet.
Did you
Lies.
ever see Colleen's Leonardo, My Kitty? Hello Kitty?
Oh my
No.
God. No, it's not Leonardo. How rude.
Leonardo.
It's
Donatello.
Donatello.
By the way,
I knew her
I
favorite
have
turtle was
6
Donnie.
The what?
Pops. That's
You
all
have
I
6?
I have 6.
Well, that's weak sauce.
But what are they?
They're Doctor Strange, Hulk, Batman, The Doc, and I believe that's it. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, some of mine happened because Five Below had them, and so I got them at Five Below. So that was a thing.
I should go to Five Below.
It's
That is
Hello
awesome.
Kitty as Donatello. Like, I can't believe he found this.
They only have the Duck
The
Dynasty
internet,
ones
the
left.
things
there
that
left.
the internet does for you. But yeah, it's adorbs.
Well, thanks to Al Griego, I managed to get the last of the Universal monsters I was missing.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yes. So I have all the base ones. Now I just got to get like the variants, but I have the base set now.
Another one of our producers. Jesus, we've had a lot of people on the show.
Yeah, we have.
It's like drummers for Spinal Tap.
Yep.
And Sean, another producer on our show.
Run.
Hey! We can't keep people. We're nice. Why do they keep leaving? Oh, yeah, because we don't pay them anything.
I mean, hey, the last 2 times y'all paid me in food, I'm happy.
That's
always
true.
that is always a precious commodity. That's always a good
Like,
one.
shoot, even if it's a home cooked meal, I'm down for it. I love food.
You're like, we'll work for food. Please feed me.
Please
Pretty
feed
much.
me seed more.
Well, and I like to do, like, I don't know, we were calling it cosplay couture the other day. So, like, I do my Donatello, but, like, your scarf that you have in your hair. So I do a purple scarf, and then I do a green shirt with, like, a yellow vest, so it looks like the front of the shell. And then I just do green, like, shorts and stuff. So it's Donatello, but it's not, like,
Yeah.
in your face
Well,
Donatello, so
that's
you
how the
have to
whole-
know.
Yeah, and that's how the whole Disney bounding thing happened. Are you familiar with Disney bounding? Disney does not allow customers to come in costume.
Into Disneyland.
Into Disneyland or any of their parks. You
Really?
cannot come in costume. So what people started doing is wearing normal clothes that would reference the costumes or the characters themselves, and basically just hide the references and everything they're wearing, but it's not a costume because it's still street clothes.
Right, nice. I like that.
And it's really cool stuff. Yeah.
I did that.
Really?
I at Geek Out, I did Dark Ash.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I did Dark Ash, and it was all street clothes. Just the one thing that really pointed out that it was Ash was the hat and the Pikachu, but everything else was street clothes. It was Dark Ash. And it was
At Game Expo?
awesome.
At Game
At
Expo, yeah.
Expo.
Yeah, I like doing that because some people will get it, right?
Yeah.
So you're walking around somewhere, and obviously you're in a geeky venue, so somebody's bound to get it. But it's like people that really know that character get it. And
Yeah.
so then you kind of make that connection. Where
Right, and you're
like,
spotting
hey.
true fans.
Yeah.
That thing too.
Which,
Colleen, well, I wasn't adding to that. I'm adding something new. Colleen posted a picture of us that happened a while back. Or was it? Yeah, it was JT. It was JT Street when we're
Oh yeah.
play testing roaches.
Yep, when we
And,
all used to do games
We used
together.
to do games together. That
Well,
was
I
cool.
was telling McKenna that I found art today, of all days. I found art from a game that she was designing called Bifrost. And one of the artists had started doing some art for us for the cards. And so if you ever want to get back to it, I have some art, and the rules are somewhere. We can always get back to that.
I'll have to play test it myself now. Just remember how it went.
Just
It's
to
been too
remember,
long. Yeah.
right? That's how I am too. I'm like, I wrote that game a long time ago. I don't remember. I don't remember how to play that game.
Remember, it had something to do with the deck of cards.
It was a deck of cards. Yep.
Yeah, each suit basically represented a different one of the realms of Yggdrasil. So it was all Nordic mythology based, and basically the face cards were the hierarchy for that particular realm, and the whole thing is making your way through the world tree to get back to Asgard, or get back to your home realm anyway, and all the stuff that would go horribly wrong in the process.
It was good. It played out well. All we had to do was kind of finish tweaking some of the rules and
Yeah.
stuff, and then get the cards made and stuff. So
Yeah.
one of these days we'll get back on track of doing
Yeah, I'm
things
still,
when we're not so busy with other stuff.
Right. And I'm still a playing card collecting addict too. So
Oh,
Yeah.
him too.
yeah.
But
Well, he's
now
got me
he's-
way beat on that.
Now it's only bicycle decks for him. Like, it used to be whatever character cards we could find, but now it's just he only wants the bicycle stuff.
The bicycle cards are still the best.
Yeah.
I mean, their consistency, their texture, they hold up well. And, you know, you're not going to have the problems you have with the tuck boxes with some of the other companies, too. The tuck boxes for the bicycle stuff always holds up better.
Yeah. There's other ones, but they're still by U.S. playing cards, so...
Yeah.
Well, some of the ones from Kickstarter, right? They're not necessarily bicycle, but they're...
No, I mean, there's a lot from Kickstarter that are bicycle, and they hold up really well.
Are they?
Yeah, those are great.
Like, what is it? Albino Dragon makes really cool.
Albino Dragon's great stuff. Chris Ovdienko is my personal favorite card artist. He did the Calaveras, he did the Oracle, the ones based on the Ouija board. He's done a lot of projects, but he's just absolutely 100% my favorite designer. Nice. He's terrific. I mean, did you get the 134th anniversary bicycle deck?
That doesn't sound...
Yes.
Well, you did?
Yeah, I did.
I was like, that doesn't sound familiar, but he has so many of them, I can't.
Because I buy them when you're not there.
He's like...
I got that at the dollar store.
Really?
Yes, they had a stack them at the dollar store, and I picked that one up there.
Dude, and some of those cards go for crazy amounts of money. Like when he and his friend were doing Magic, and there was some kind of watermelon.
Not Magic the Gathering. It was a watermelon deck.
Yeah.
It was a bee deck, but it's U.S. playing cards as well.
Oh wow!
But
it was like $50-something.
Those were released with, I think, like some cigarettes or something. It was like that and a set of dice. And you would get it if you sent in so many labels or whatever.
I actually read up on that one. You managed to get a hold of it?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I have one trick deck. Well, he had it like a couple of pallets of it. And he's been selling them little by little. But yeah, no, I got my hands on a watermelon deck.
Dude, that's incredible.
Two. One trick deck and then a blue one and a red one.
Cool. That one of the things I've got to start breaking down doing is buying 2 decks. That way I can leave one. Because I actually have a thought on how some custom stands that I want to make for each deck. And but it's just like, you know, I get my deck, I open it, and you know, so I really need to start buying 2 so I can have.
Yeah, so you can have one.
Yeah.
Then you'll just have so many more decks of cards. Vince used to do a lot of magic tricks, but he doesn't really do magic anymore.
Yeah, I don't do any tricks, but I'm still working on card handling. Just you know, with my well, not even that. It's just like the flourishes and things like that, fancy cuts and things like this. Just because it actually helps with the arthritis in my hands, but because the arthritis in the hands, it's slow going.
It takes a serious level of dexterity that I am not even close to having.
Yeah, I'm never going to be good, but I just want to get better, that's all.
Yeah, definitely. I don't do the flourishes or anything, because if I can do a flourishes, who's to think that I can't pull a card out of the deck that's theirs?
Right.
So
when we play games with you, then we're like, nobody wants to play games with Vince anymore because he's doing all this stuff.
Which reminds me, I need to get my finishing on... I don't know who that is.
So is it my turn to go?
It's your turn.
It's the night of the mini doorbell ringing.
I don't have any...
I bet you it's
deliveries.
Zachary Blaze and he locked himself out.
So...
That's all right, Vince and McKenna can talk.
That's right, next time I'll answer the door. Yeah.
So,
I'm really confused. I'm like, you're not them.
So I know we planned a long time ago to do a cosplay. Long time ago. What was that?
Witty, I'm sure. I honestly don't remember.
I think it was some like anime or something like that. I forget what it was.
Possibility.
But no, we definitely need to get together again and work some stuff, finish some games off.
Yeah, right. Well, it's getting a little bit more steady on my side, at least. So weekends are available for me now, where they weren't for the longest time. When you're working for restaurants, there's no way you're getting weekends off.
Yeah.
Now I'm a Monday through Friday day shift. It's just that the getting cross town to over here before 6 o'clock is pretty rare for me. So,
yeah.
but aside from that, later evenings or arrange things on a weekend, whenever. Just let me know ahead of time. We could probably make that happen now.
Cool. That'd be cool. Because we're probably gonna want to have you on again sometime in the future, or do some other things, because we're looking at doing some shorter things that are not necessarily live anymore. We're gonna do the live. We're never gonna stop doing the live. So
just additional content.
Just additional content.
That's cool. That stuff's always fun too. You can, a lot of stuff you can do with that.
We still need to talk about the stuff that I was supposed to help you out with.
What stuff?
There was something you wanted me to do with when it came to relevant games or game consoles, something like that.
Something about a chicken and a hand of ginger. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Level up.
Level up.
Level up.
We need to get you on level up.
Yep.
And do that. Because we're doing we're also doing the gaming parents on Twitch.
It's really horrible. Don't watch.
It's actually not that bad.
Really?
Mm-mm.
I feel like it's super horrible.
I like it.
Like, we sat there forever trying to get Resident Evil to work.
Nope. I actually thought was actually really funny.
Oh, okay.
That was actually probably one of my favorite parts. Was actually I'm trying to get everything. I'm like, oh my god, that's hilarious. This is what parents are these days, trying to be able to play video games. I love it.
Okay, well, it's really awful, and maybe you'll love it.
No, believe me. People on the internet, especially when it comes to gaming, they want to see you fail.
Yeah. You fail a lot, so then you'll love it. And I kind of abuse Vincent, so that's not very nice. And I'm trying to do that less.
Street Fighter.
That's content gold, though.
I can't help it. I get very angry.
It is content
I
gold.
try not to be so angry, but I'm very angry. It was the neighbor, by the way. They wanted to cut down part of our tree because it's like scratching on their roof, and I said that was fine. They could cut down the tree.
Not the whole tree.
Not the whole tree. I didn't say cut down the whole tree.
Cut down the whole tree.
Oh.
I mean, it's old.
I like that tree.
It's gonna die soon. Those ash trees only have a 50-year lifespan.
Don't talk about my tree.
We should start planting an oak and let it go. But I digress, so we won't talk about that. Science! Oh, no.
Science, which is another thing that may be coming here pretty soon.
I have a new lab coat.
We both have a new lab coat.
Might be a thing.
I missed
you used to wear a
I was like,
right?
you did used to wear your lab coat. Oh, my God.
One of the other things we're going to be doing, too, is that on September, I want to say first week of September, anyway, we will be doing weekly content for an Eye on Possible Science. So, Eye on Possible...
You're about to say Geek Out of Say.
You can send it our way. It's fine.
Well, oddly enough, we've done two episodes of Eye on Possible Science ever, and we still get more traffic on that than we ever did on Nerding Instinct.
I don't think I've ever... It's a podcast?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
I've never actually listened to a
like
podcast before. I should probably try that sometime.
Actually, I'm going to start a podcast here very soon myself.
We can listen to it on Alexa.
Ask Alexa. Hey, Alexa, play my podcast. I don't know.
Well,
I told her to play Magic 105.3.
It'll be a recorded podcast on YouTube, but it's still a podcast.
Really?
I think so.
I mean, some of my friends have told me, like, they put our show on in the background and they're, like, painting their minis or whatever, and they're not watching us, they're just listening. So to them, it's kind of like a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So.
We just don't have the fancy music. We just have our intro.
I mean, we can sing for you.
When we first started, we didn't have an intro.
Yeah.
We just started. Hi.
Hi. It's all of us. Weird and creepy. Watch us now. No.
Oh, God, that's based on mystery.
That's pretty much, that's the way it went for the first week or two.
Since I've learned so much about OBS, we've been able to, like, go leaps and bounds. And we just changed stuff recently with the layout of the cameras and stuff.
It looks really good.
What do you do your podcast through?
Where we publish, or
like what is it?
We're still Podbean.
It's still Podbean. Yeah. We don't have any current content on there, but that's why I'm shooting for September.
Well, your new stuff though is going to be on this Podbean.
On Podbean, yeah.
How do people get to that?
It's just we've got our domain tied in, so it's still just be nerdinginstinct.com, and everything references to there. They just do the hosting of the
I've
files.
I've heard people can like listen to podcasts like on iTunes and stuff. Can you?
We always have our stuff available on iTunes.
It is available like that too.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And that's real easy to do.
It's also an app.
Yeah.
But doesn't Podbean do that
Podbean.
for you? Or?
Yeah, the beauty of it is that once we record, edit, and I upload the finished product, it automatically distributes it to your social media. So it'll put it on Facebook, it'll put it on Twitter, it'll put it on, it'll upload it to YouTube. I mean, not to YouTube. Well, it can. We never use that, but it would also upload it to iTunes and Stitcher. Mm-hmm. So it's great. You upload it once, hit go, and it distributes everything for you. It even makes the announcements on your social media for you. Hey, this new episode's ready, etc. Podbean's really great. It's not free like a lot of the other places are. I think that they have free options, but they're so limited that we would overrun those pretty easy.
Yeah.
But I think we pay like $14 a month, and it more than gives us what we need.
Yeah.
Well, especially if it's disseminating it to everything for you, so it's kind of a one-stop kind of thing. That seems like it's reasonable. I've always talked to him about possibly trying. I don't know any of the tech side, but maybe like just separating the audio from these things that we do and pushing it out there to be a podcast on its own too. Because I know that a lot of people in the geek world listen to the podcast. I think more than they watch the YouTube videos.
Yeah, Bonnie and I are both blessed, but we can have our headphones on while we're working in an office environment. So that's where most of our podcast consumption is done, is while we're sitting at our desk 40 some hours a week.
Yeah.
It makes things a lot. There's so much you can absorb. And one of the things I'm really wanting to do, and that's probably not going to happen until at least next year, but we want to start doing a serialized fiction thing. So in the style of old radio shows, but do it as a serial fiction release on the podcast. Yeah.
That's really cool.
You're going to War of the Worlds, everybody, and like
nice.
The sky is falling. And
well, Mykenna, thanks for coming by. I really appreciate it. And it's been really nice to catch up, and it's really been really nice to see you. And I'm going to get teary-eyed. It's been so long.
I'd pay to see that.
He does. Now that he's an old man, he gets a little weepy.
So yeah, I mean, you've always been a really good friend. I'm glad you've come to a point where you can be more accepting of yourself.
Yeah, it doesn't come naturally for me. I learned really early on that if it serves me in any positive way, shape, or form, shun it, get rid of it. You know, and that was really the biggest fight. And so, really, once the illusion went, that kind of went with it to a large degree. So, that made things a lot easier.
Good.
But thanks for checking this out. Tune in next week. Well, tune in. We don't have to tune. Check us out next week.
People are like, tune what?
I'm going to try to talk to possibly another old co-host and get him on as well.
We'll see how that goes.
So we'll see how that goes. But thanks for checking us out. I'm Vince.
I'm Colleen. That's Sean. Here's Mykenna.
Geek out, I say. See you later. Bye.